Now, you guys, a family is demanding answers after they say their loved one was unalived by Homewood police. On Monday, June 23rd, 18-year-old Jabari Peoples was at the Homewood soccer complex with a friend. So I'm going to give you the version of events from what Homewood police are saying, and then I'm going to tell you from what the passenger was saying in Jabari's car. So Homewood police, they say that they see this car, it's out there in the parking lot and it's parked. There has not been a crime reported. They're not doing anything. The car is just parked. So a Homewood police officer ends up going over to the car and starts to tap on the window. So the police officer is saying that he smelled marijuana, so he ordered both of the people in the vehicle to get out. So from what the reports say, the police officer was about to make an arrest for unlawful possession of marijuana. Which, let me stop the video right here. You only smelled marijuana, you didn't actually see it. In the driver's seat is 18-year-old Jabari Peoples. So from what the officer is saying, he asked Jabari to get out of the vehicle. The officer then sees a weapon in the door of the car. But Jabari does not have this weapon. Now, this is what the officers are saying. They get Jabari out and they try to make an arrest, but they're saying that he starts to resist. The officer then claims that he's knocked to the ground. Jabari runs back to the car, gets the weapon, didn't fire at the officers, didn't point it at the officers, but the officer is saying he felt threatened enough to where he fired a shot at Jabari. Now, sadly, Jabari was rushed to UAB where he passed away. So let's remember, Jabari's friend was also in this car. And she's saying that Jabari did not have a weapon, he was not a threat, and that what the Homewood police are saying is completely false. So the passenger in the car is saying that they were at this soccer complex, they were in the parking lot, when somebody came up and tapped on the window. She's saying that this was an unmarked vehicle. They didn't provide identification or communicate who they were, but they ordered Jabari to get out of the vehicle. The passenger is saying that within seconds of Jabari being out of that vehicle, he was shot and he was on the ground. Totally different from what that officer is saying. The officer is making it seem like there was resistance, there was a scuffle, he was knocked to the ground, Jabari ran back to the car. The passenger is saying that that never happened. To add on to everything that's going on, Jabari's parents, they're at home because Jabari is actually from Aliceville. So his dad, he's watching the news and he sees something about this person who was unalived at the park, and he's like, that's crazy. Not even knowing that that's his son that was unalived. It wouldn't be until that next day, 12 hours later, Jabari's family was notified of his death. They were never called to identify his body. They were never told what actually took place. And from what they're saying, they had already performed the autopsy as well. So now the family is like, oh no, we want answers. Jabari was 18 years old. He was a college student. He had just graduated from high school the year prior. He had never been in any trouble. He was a good person. He was respectable. Something about this whole encounter is not making sense. So not only is the family calling for answers, the community, the mayor of Aliceville is also calling for Homewood police to release the body cam because they want to know what actually happened that night.
Jabari's and the young lady was out at the park. They wasn't aware that an officer had pulled up. The officer didn't have any lights on. He tapped on the window and asked him, little boy, what are you doing here? And then they got out the vehicle, and he was, from what we're told, the young lady said he was cooperating, done everything that the officer asked him to do.
So I don't know if anybody is familiar with Homewood, Alabama. There have been multiple accounts of racism, discrimination. There have been lawsuits against that police department for racism, and there was also lawsuits within that police department when a police officer sued them for racism and discrimination. Something about this situation is not right. Release the body cam footage, show the family what actually took place, because I do not believe that Jabari attacked this police officer. He saw a young black teenager sitting in a parking lot at 9 o'clock at night, and he assumed that this is a bad person. Jabari wasn't hurting anybody. He wasn't bothering anybody. And to be completely honest, I think they said they smelled marijuana in order to have a reason to pull him out of that vehicle. Now, I'm going to keep you guys updated as more information comes out. Like I said before, the family is fighting just to see the body cam. And if you feel like as a police officer this was justified, why not just show them the body cam? Justice for Jabari.